This is Section 9, the liberal establishment, or Block 9, the liberal establishment. Section 6, the civil rights movement, with the section beginning Kennedy's caution. When he ran for president in 1960, Kennedy campaigned on a promise to engage in civil rights legislation and to end housing discrimination, specifically with what he called the stroke of a pen. That there was laws in northern states preventing blacks from moving into particular neighborhoods, and obviously there was forced formal legal and cultural segregation down south. Kennedy makes this campaign promise and then, quite frankly, moves very slowly to do it. That's simply that, Kennedy was barely elected. He did not have much in the way of majorities in Congress, and the realities of the Democratic Party, its base, it's still incredibly important and powerful in the South, and Southern Democrats do not want to see any federal civil rights legislation at all. He preferred not to alienate Southern Democrats, and because he needed their support for the other things that Kennedy wanted to do. He wanted to, make strides in education, medical things, defense, other bills, etc., etc. And in his 1,000 days in office, Kennedy did very little for civil rights in terms of big bills or important legislation. That does not mean that Kennedy was not a supporter of civil rights. That he, through executive actions and through his use of the bureaucracy and his power of the president, he certainly did engage in certain civil rights related activities, including the establishment of what's known as the EEOC, or the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And this was an executive department whose job it was to investigate employers who were discriminating against black Americans. If a black American or any American felt that he had been unfairly discriminated against due to his race when it came to being hired, being promoted, being fired, anything in the workforce, he could file a complaint with the EEOC. Kennedy's caution leads him, his version of the EEOC does not provide it with much money, does not provide it with much power to actively investigate these claims. With Kennedy's creation of it, it's almost it's a surface thing without very much power at all. For a couple reasons. One, it's not very well funded, and two, discrimination in lots of places, north and south, is not illegal. That private companies in 1960 were free to discriminate however they wanted to. That if they didn't want to accept money, from black customers, they were free to not accept money from black customers. In the 50 years since, however, the EEOC has become quite a powerful bureaucracy indeed. Kennedy needs, in his own mind, to move slowly in terms of civil rights. It's the reality of the politics of his party. And so a lot of people, including Martin Luther King, grew very frustrated with the slowness of Kennedy's response. And people like Martin Luther King and other civil rights activists were going to kind of stop waiting around for the government to do something, and they were going to take matters into their own hands.